Good morning, good morning, good morning again, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers. In the description box, you're going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It is written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavioral modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read that article and don't forget to share it on all your social media. We also have NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC has the balls to see through with their threat. We got the pertinent links to the Agape boarding school situation as well. Agape boarding school is a Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has and pending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all these substantiated by the Missouri Department of Social Services that include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for the starters. You got one former staff member arrested by the FBI. You've got another doctor still on the premises. With full access to the boys up on multiple claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. You got a new attorney general, GOP dumbass, yay, who's yet to say anything on the situation. And you've got a governor piped up on a power trip. So please read those articles. Don't forget to sign and share the change.org Shut Agape Boarding School Down petition. We got the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, Jennifer Masemba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. Folks, when we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones, all right? Okay, good. This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and we speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this channel, parental supervision is very obviously advised, all right? Okay, trigger warning. We are about to descend into the mad ravings of a lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You are going to hear victim blaming, gaslighting, pseudoscience, out-and-out lies, and enough bigotry and ableism to circle the globe a few times. So just, be prepared for the stupidity, all right? Now we're going to talk about my favorite subject, and I'm going to enjoy tearing it apart. The aversive that JRC employs is a brief 2-second shock that is administered to the surface of the skin, typically on the arm or leg, immediately after the problem behavior has occurred by a remote-controlled device called the GED. Lie. It's a lie. Let's talk about that 2-second shock, shall we? A police taser that runs on 5 mph has known to stop the heart and cause the death of a full-grown man over 250 pounds. The lowest level setting on the GED that these students are forced to wear is 15. These kids are preteens and older. The highest setting is literally just below the lethal limit. Okay? So spare me, it's just a 2-second bee sting. It's not. No bee sting is going to make a person have the kind of screaming coming out of their being like they did with Andre McCollins. Okay? Please stop lying to my face, doctor. Okay? Also, why is the arm or leg a lie? Because he's not telling you the full truth. The GED is attached in several areas, the most sensitive parts of the inside of your arms and on the insides of your legs, with 2 electrodes that are strapped onto your torso. That is full body convulsion that they are inducing. He says, but it's just topical on top of the skin. What he doesn't tell you that's intentional. The skin shock is designed that way so that it will hurt the person that wears it. Bee sting my ass. Let's move forward here, shall we? An aversive is a consequence, which when it is arranged consistently for severely problematic behavior, decreases the future frequency of or decelerates the behavior. Lie. That's a lie, doctor. When you remove the device, doctor, what happens? Continues, doesn't it? So it's not actually eliminated, is it? That is a lie. JRC skin shock procedure, although moderately painful for a very brief 2-second period of its application, is extremely effective and no significant side effects. Lie. A massive one, I might add. If, doctor, it had no side effects, why are students of yours in the ER? If there were no side effects, why do we know for a fact from the New York report that you will take a kid off the skin shocks in order for them to be able to heal up from a particularly vigorous time using them on them? That tells me you're a liar. See, a 2-second bee sting is not going to put a kid in a hospital who then becomes catatonic for a full fucking month. It doesn't remove feeling in the areas that you have put the electrodes in. But we know from medical ER records that your device does all of this. You cannot sit there and tell me with a straight face that 15 to just below the lethal limit in pH is a moderate pain. We all know it's not. You cannot pull that video up and listening to Andre scream and beg for it to stop and tell me it was only moderately painful. These people justify the levels of electricity that they use on these kids by toting a lie. It's a particular lie that has to do with the fact that these people believe we have a very, very high tolerance for pain. It's a lie, folks. Where it stems from is the fact that some of us don't always display all emotions in a way that neurotypicals understand on our faces or in our body language. It's going to look different because we are different. This has made people think that we're not actually in pain. We are. In fact, I have very, very, very low pain tolerance. Most of us do. We are hypersensory creatures. Okay? I just wanted to cover that because I've heard that particular lie a good majority of my adult life, and I can tell you from personal experience, folks, it's complete and utter bullshit. Okay? Let's move on here. The JRC shock procedure, no, we've already read that part. No significant side effects. My ass, doctor. Then why is it putting your kids in the ER? Why will you take your kids off of it for weeks at a time so they can heal up if there's no side effects? If there were no side effects, there would be nothing to heal from. Isn't that right? But again, folks, Dr. Mathieu doesn't deal in logic or reality. In many cases, adversives are required only during the initial phases of the treatment and can be phased out as the student behaviors improves. Lie. Matter of fact, the doctor will use any excuse to slap the kid back on the device. In fact, we know we had 2 students who had been faded off the device that were shocked each one evening, out of nowhere, over 71 times each, and nobody in the staff even questioned it. Yeah. So that's a lie. You actually do not. Matter of fact, most of the kids who get strapped with this device, who I might add are usually students of color. Yeah, I noticed, doctor. Usually have to wear that device until they leave that hellhole. Okay, that's the truth. Those who get off the device are still being starved, sleep deprived, and attacked by staff at random because behavioral rehearsal lessons, okay? Currently, a minority of the JRC students, 43% of JRC's total population and less than 23% of JRC's school-age population, requires supplement with adversives. For those students who do have adversives in their program, the use is infrequent. Again, we get this mixed language here. He's lying. A lot. Those kids who are not on the device are still on food programs. They still have to sit there like robots and not react while other students are being tortured around them. They're still being sleep deprived. They're still having to deal with the bizarre behavioral rehearsal lessons. Those 43% are the individuals who have been able to mask for a very long amount of time, which has its own psychological damage and trauma. It's not a success. Just saying. Now, let's see the biggest lie of all. For those students who do have adversives in a program, the use is infrequent. That is the biggest lie of all. Matter of fact, coming from 2 different sources who are unbiased and do not have a dog in the game, like New York's Special Education Department, for example, noted that indeed kids would be shocked at the least frequency at least 10 times a day. That's frequent, doctor. That is frequent. This place also has a tendency, as we know, to use the device over and over and over and over again in quick succession. Like Andre McCollins and the 2 boys who were shocked over 71 times each in a single evening. I don't call that infrequent, doctor. Nor does anyone who even knows the slightest bit about math. Okay? This whole paragraph here he's using to justify his bullshit is him trying to minimize the damage this device does. He doesn't go into the details of it. He doesn't tell you how powerful it is, nor does he compare it with any similar device that is used on the market for takedowns, such as the police taser. Nor does he tell you that even the police taser, which is at 5 mph, has known to drop full-grown, over 250-pound men, and has been known to stop their heart, and these men have died. The devices he has these kids on are far more powerful than that. He doesn't tell you that, in fact, the things that he will shock these kids for include having a natural physical reaction to having electricity shot through your skin, which is going to cause Because it's sitting on the surface, it's sitting on top of a muscle. So what happens when you shock a muscle with electricity? It tenses. He says that's a sign of aggression and shocks them again. And if they scream, he shocks them again. Read what happened to Andre. Go watch that video on YouTube. And you'll see this lie for what it is. Many of these kids who have come out and have been survivors of this place have mentioned the fact that sheer amount of terror they feel when they just hear the sound of Velcro. That doesn't come from a moderate pain doctor. That comes from torture. You cannot watch that video of Andre McCollins and tell me that's moderate pain. Okay? It's dramatic, but it's not what you think. Don't trust your eyes, bro. Trust me. Yeah, that's what we're dealing with here. Let's kind of round this out, shall we? Dr. Matthew Israel wants you to believe that this device is completely harmless. It's like if you, boop your cat on the nose when they're misbehaving. That's what he's trying to equivalent it with. The truth is far more heinous and dark. Okay? These devices, by his own words, were designed to hurt these kids. It's not a little quick bump like, hey, you forgot something. No. It is far more painful than what he's saying here. And the intense amount of pain that these devices are designed to give. It's only 2 seconds. That 2 seconds can be an eternity, folks. As anyone who's ever been through abuse can tell you. Now I'm going to close on that. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. As always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye.